Granetta Coleman. She is a certified Food for Life instructor and owner of The Rooted Dish. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks. It's great to have you at my house.
So today we're going to hear about her vegan lifestyle and also share a fun recipe. So do you want to tell everyone what we're making?
Yes, so today we're going to make a lentil bolognese sauce, and this is basically like a pumped up spaghetti sauce.
Sounds really good. I can't wait to try it, so let's get started.
All right, so first it's the basic ingredients. We're going to cut up an onion. We're going to include 7 garlic cloves. We're going to cut up a carrot and some celery, and we're going to get those sauteing in my pan. And we're going to do a water saute because we're trying to minimize oil in our recipe. So if you want to chop up that onion, you can get that started. I am going to get this garlic ready. So garlic and onions are from the same family, and that's great because they are anti-cancer fighters. So I try to eat as much garlic and onions as humanly possible.
Yes, they have a lot of phytochemicals. They're really good, that have really good anti-cancer properties. So how long have you been vegan for?
So I've been vegan since 2011.
Okay.
So almost, I guess, 8 years.
Wow. Yeah. And so what got you started? What's your vegan story?
Okay, so my vegan story actually goes back to 1999. I was a lawyer working an office job, and as happens, you go out a lot, you eat out a lot, you gain a lot of weight. So I had gained probably 30 more pounds than I needed, and I decided to try vegetarianism to lose the weight. Also, the family curse of high blood pressure was starting to attack me. So I went vegetarian. I didn't know anything. So I think I just ate carbs, like white pasta, for a week. And on that Friday, the end of my week, I went out and I got a steak. Because I didn't know what I was doing. So I quit for a while, and then in 2001, I tried again. I read some books, and I was successfully a vegetarian for 5 years.
What books did you read?
Oh my God, I don't even know what books I read. I just went to the library and got some vegan cookbooks or vegetarian cookbooks, and you're doing good with those onions. Vegetarian cookbooks, and just, I don't know what I cooked. I've always been a cook. So then I was vegetarian for 5 years, and I got pregnant.
Okay.
And there was one morning I woke up and I was starving, and I just couldn't imagine what I could eat to fill that hole that this baby was making in me. So I went back to the standard American diet. And I had my daughter, and she was 4 years old, and we went to Thanksgiving with some family. And while we were saying our prayer, the dog grabbed the turkey off the counter and was eating it. So they washed the turkey off because that was the meal, right? And everyone ate the dog turkey. And I kind of I was like, I don't think I want to eat this. And that was the last meat I ever had.
So you did eat it?
I had a little bit, respect. I had a little bit. But that was the last meat I ever had. After that, and also just seeing all the cheese that was put into the food and the milk and just everything, the excess of Thanksgiving just kind of did me in. And so we had that meal. That day, I went to the bookstore in Chicago. I was like, I gotta go. And I got Vegan Bee in the Kitsch. It rhymes with kitsch. And that was my vegan cookbook for a while. And some family members were were also going vegan, so that was very supportive.
That's good.
They were long distance. They were in Arkansas, and I was in DC, but it still helped, to have someone behind you like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so that was it.
Nice. Okay. that I grabbed.
Yes. Pick a carrot.
And so we're doing how many carrots?
We are doing 3 carrots. And sometimes I peel them, sometimes I don't.
Do you want to peel them?
Sure. Just in case. So you don't have to peel your carrots. You can leave the skin on. But sometimes I peel them because I use the skins for veggie stock.
Oh.
Yeah, so I just save the skins and I save the onion trimmings and I save my celery scraps and then I'll make veggie stock out of it and it doesn't cost me anything.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's fun. And so is your immediate family vegan?
So my younger brother has been vegan since '93. And so it's just him and me.
And what about your daughter and your husband?
Oh, my daughter, my husband, yes. Well, my daughter is a vegetarian. She's 11, and when I went vegan, she was 4 years old. And luckily, she's a mama's girl. So anything mama does, she was willing to do.
Aw.
And so she went vegetarian. But she has not come to the vegan end of the spectrum yet. We're trying to crowd cheese out. So basically, she can have a little bit of it, but she understands that it's, not the best choice. But she is 11, so she can think, and she has her own opinions, and I don't want to force my lifestyle on her and have it be, just her fighting me because I'm trying to push it on her. So.
Yeah. And so she's vegetarian just because you are? Because she cares for animals?
She also cares for animals.
The reasons for it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And then my husband, so originally when I went vegetarian and vegan, I would cook basically 2 meals. Or I would cook my meal and then supplement it with like a chicken breast. And then there came a point, and I always used to treat chicken like it was a biohazard. I mean, I would know exactly where I put it down on the counter so I could clean that up. I was nervous about the cutting boards, that they were on,
Which you
the
should
knives.
be. Yeah.
I was like, I'm suiting up to go in with this toxic chicken. So eventually I just got tired of it. I said, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Why am I doing this? So I said, he works outside of the home. I said, you can eat whatever you want when you're out. But when you come home for dinner, it's going to be at least vegetarian or vegan. And he's been fine with that.
Yeah. And he likes the vegetarian food?
Oh yeah. Yep. And so 2 years ago we were on vacation and he overdid it on oysters. He got really sick and he became a vegetarian.
Oh.
So he is vegetarian now. And he used to have acid reflux and that disappeared. And he's lost some weight and just feels better. So yeah, sometimes you just have to lead by example and hope that someone's paying attention.
Yeah, and I think sometimes it can be hard if you're cooking for a family who's not yet vegan, and you want them to be happy and enjoy the food, but you don't want to cook chicken.
Right.
You don't want to put cheese in your food, especially when you know how bad it is.
Exactly. So one of the other options that I used to do is I would just buy pre-cooked chicken, and just say, well, there it is. If you really need it, it's sitting right there in that package. You can have it.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to put any more work into food that's going to hurt you. I just made that decision.
Yeah, I like that. That's good.
All right, this is looking good. It's smelling good. I wish
Smells
you guys could
amazing.
smell it.
And so, how are you doing this without any oil?
So basically, I have a non-stick pot, so that already keeps things from sticking to the bottom. And if things start to stick, I just add a little bit of water, or you can add vegetable broth, and the vegetables will cook.
Yeah. And it still browns without the oil?
It can brown without the oil. We're not going to get this to the browning stage. We're just kind of sauteing it a little bit, get the vegetables a little softer. before we add our lentils. And another, one reason why this recipe is fun for me is because when I was growing up, we used to have spaghetti every Monday. Monday was spaghetti night. And so you always knew dinner on Monday was spaghetti night. So when I first became a vegetarian and a vegan, I was like, I still wanted that comfort food from childhood. I'm gonna have my spaghetti. So this is just a veganized version of my childhood spaghetti. And that's one great thing people can do when they're transitioning, is that they can recreate their child, you know, foods they love in a vegan form. So that's why
I love that. And a lot of people think, you know, you have to give up your culture and all the food that you grew up with, eating with your family, but most recipes, really easy to make.
True.
Those lentils, they really, it's like having the meat sauce that you grew up, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we have, I used to be obsessed with this Guyanese garlic pork that we would have every year for Christmas.
Okay.
I mean, me and my little sister, we would wake up in the morning like smelling it and run downstairs. That was like the thing we loved. And you know, we just use the same seasonings and everything with chickpeas.
Okay.
And we roast them on the stove.
Nice.
And you know, you still have that same feel.
Right.
Because it's the same flavorings.
Exactly.
And you still
And
have
the
it on
scent.
the holidays.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really nice.
So the next step in this recipe is we're going to get our pasta going because our water's boiling. So today we're going to be using a whole grain penne. Just gonna let that boil for a little bit. To this sauce, we're going to add, we added garlic, we added some celery, and we're going to add tomato paste. So we have a can of tomato paste.
Yes.
And this is kind of going to deepen the tomato flavor. So a lot of chilies and things call for tomato paste because it just deepens the tomato flavor. A lot of times I'll try to find a tomato paste with no sodium. Just trying to keep the sneaky sodium out of things.
All of these. No salt.
Yay! And then we're going to let that cook for a minute, and then we're going to add our diced tomatoes. Another great thing about this recipe is that you can find all of these ingredients in a regular grocery store.
Right.
You don't have to go anywhere special. You can find all of this in your local stores. So that's really important because people don't want to run around.
Right.
And
it's cheap too.
It's cheap.
When you start buying, people always ask me, is veganism expensive?
Yeah.
And if you're eating whole foods, lentils, potatoes, rice, it's really cheap, right? It's when you start going out to buy like vegan cheese, vegan cream cheese, vegan ice cream, all that stuff, it really adds up. But the whole foods, it's good for you and it's not expensive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you stick more to the outer rim of the grocery store, even as a vegan, staying in the produce section, staying out of the freezer section unless you're getting frozen fruit or frozen vegetables,
Right.
then you'll save a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love entertaining as a vegan because it's less expensive. You know, when you used to entertain and you'd have to buy all of this meat, it can be very expensive. But you can cook up a pot of chili and have a ton of people over for much less.
Yeah. That's great. And you bring a lot of vegan dishes when you go to family gatherings, or?
I do. So for family, a lot of times we'll either eat out, and then we have to negotiate a place where we can all eat, or I will bring something. So I love bringing different dishes and having people try them and say, "Oh, that's not so bad.
Yeah,
I think I could eat that. You want to pass me the tomatoes?" So now we're going to add our diced tomatoes.
This one's the sauce.
Yeah. And then we're going to add a can of tomato sauce. So we're basically making our tomato sauce now. If you're in a hurry, I don't always do it this way. I just skip all of the tomato products and I just pour in a jar of pre-made sauce. So if you're in a hurry, you don't have to do all this.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's a very versatile recipe. And now we're going to add our lentils. And we're going to add some seasoning because these cans of tomatoes don't have any seasoning.
And these are red lentils.
These are red lentils. And I love to mix up my beans because they all have different properties. So sometimes we'll do beans, you know, black beans, white beans, pinto beans, kidney beans. But then we also mix it up with lentils and soybeans, do tofu.
Yeah, I love lentils.
Yeah.
And when you get the black or brown lentils, that's what I make for my mom because it reminds her of the meat.
It's got the chewy texture, yeah. The red lentils are great in this sauce because they cook so fast. They just disappear really quickly. So if you were doing a brown or a black lentil, you probably should cook them first separately and then put them in the sauce. Yeah. So I'm adding basil and oregano, 1 tablespoon of basil, 1 teaspoon of oregano, and I'm going to add a little bit of baking soda. That will help the lentils cook.
Okay.
Break down a little bit. This is kind of a quick cook, and then I'm going to add 2 cups of water just to help the lentils along.
She's an amazing cook, and she's actually a cooking instructor. Where are you from?
So I teach public classes, Food for Life classes, and then I also teach private classes for a doctor at GW who's working with patients with mostly kidney disease. So a lot of people don't know that protein is really hard on their kidneys. So she's really trying to help her patients who are either at early stage of kidney disease prolong the use of their kidneys, because once you get it, you can't unget it. So if they can eliminate the animal protein from their diets, they can really forestall having to go to dialysis and really, you know, extend their life. So it's been really exciting working with her. And the patients have been very receptive. So for about a year, she was teaching this class without a cooking instructor. And she's a vegan, so she would tell them what she would do, but it wasn't as effective as having someone come in, cook in an hour, 2 meals, and they get to taste it, and they're like, huh, it's not so bad. I think I could do that.
That's so cool that you're doing that.
Yeah, so and she's had amazing success with this, with her patients.
Oh,
yeah, people who have reversed their high blood pressure, have reversed their diabetes. You know, her kidney patients, it's different, but their lab work gets better. But yeah, so it's been a very exciting endeavor.
Yeah, that is so cool, so cool. It's people who are vegan not only have lower rates of disease, and it's not just preventative, but if you already have, you know, hypertension, heart disease, diabetes, and then you go vegan, you can actually reverse your disease. Yeah. And I saw a lot of that in my internship that just ended a few weeks ago at the Physicians Committee. They have a diabetes class, and almost half the people got off of their insulin. It's amazing.
That's fantastic.
It's really crazy how powerful food can be.
Right. It's kind of like we've been looking for the cure for all of these diseases in a lab, when the cure is in the kitchen.
Right. Exactly. So the food can cause disease, it can also help cure it. Right? Help reverse that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we're just going to let this simmer, and the lentils are going to soften.
Okay, cool. So tell us about your Food for Life classes.
So I've been teaching the Kickstart Food for Life class, which is basically the general class to help people lose weight. And if you have a chronic disease like high blood pressure or diabetes or high cholesterol, it can also impact those diseases in a positive way.
Yeah.
So it's really fun because I get people from all different walks of life in these classes. Like I had a guy who owns a restaurant, and he's had more people coming in asking for plant-based options. So he's like, I guess I need to take a class and figure out what to serve.
Oh, that's so cool.
And then I've had people who are trying to lose weight or have different, you know, health issues. So it's really fun.
That's cool. And you have a class coming up?
I do. I have a class coming up in October. October 6th is the beginning. It's a 4-week class. And it's in DC at this place called Tastemakers DC, which is this really cool food hall that has different vendors and a great demonstration kitchen. So I'm really excited about that.
Nice. Okay. And so do you want to share your social media and your website with everybody if anybody want to sign up?
Absolutely. So I am Rooted Dish, ROOTEDDISH.com, and Rooted Dish on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all those great sources.
Nice. Okay. And do you have any other resources that you would want to share with anybody?
Well, I think PCRM is a great place to start. So PCRM.org is a wonderful place for recipes, for the 21-day vegan kickstart, which is a 21-day test drive of a vegan diet. And it gives people a chance to try it out and see if they see these amazing results, they might keep going.
Yeah, it comes with videos and the cooking instructions, shopping lists, so you can click which ones you want, and the shopping list will appear. And it's really cool. It's an app you can download on your phone too. Yeah, for free.
Yes,
yeah.
for free.
Nutritionfacts.org is a really good one with Dr. Greger, and everything he does is evidence-based. All of his videos, he cites the research study, and he goes into detail. He'll show you the graphs from it, and then he just he takes the scientific information and makes it easy to apply.
Yes.
He's like, okay, here's what all the data says. Here's like how you can apply it to your life.
Exactly.
So that's really cool.
Exactly.
Forks Over Knives is another good place to find good recipes. They have like a bunch of cookbooks too.
Exactly. I just rewatched Forks Over Knives. It's been so long that I hadn't seen it in a while. And I was like, wow, this is really. I'm gonna re-advise people to watch it just because it's really powerful.
Yeah. That's actually one of the documentaries that got me to go vegetarian at first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So cool. Okay. So we're gonna let this simmer, and then we'll be back to taste it. Okay. So we're back, and this is almost done. I forgot to ask about where you grew up and what kind of foods you guys ate.
So I grew up in Maryland, and my mom was from Texas, and my dad was from St. Louis.
Okay.
And so we ate meat at every meal. We were the meat family. We had bacon and pancakes for breakfast almost every single day. Even my brothers learned how to cook that. We had meat sandwiches for lunch, so some kind of bologna, turkey. I didn't have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich until I went to college, which is crazy. And then for dinner, we used to have, my meat sauce pasta. We used to have hamburger helper. Anything in a box was what we had, supplemented with the meat that you had to add to it.
So you've come completely full circle.
Completely full circle.
And that's hard. I had very similar experience. We ate meat all the time. Packing lunches were pepperoni sandwiches, bacon sandwiches. It would just be mayonnaise and bacon. That's it.
Yes, yes.
I used to beg my mom to take me to McDonald's every day after school.
Yeah.
It was really bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's good.
And it's possible to change.
Yeah.
I mean, if I can change and my brother can change from eating that much meat to eating no animal products, anything is possible. Anyone can do it.
Yeah, and it's so good for you.
Yeah. And I also think that it's incredible the variety that you can have with plants. Like when you eat a standard diet, you actually aren't eating that much variety.
Yeah, I actually enjoy cooking more. Have tried so many more recipes. And actually I know I enjoy my food so much more after I became vegan.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so many fun things to try. You just type in any recipe online and then write vegan after. And I'm sure you'll find a recipe that you can veganize it for, and it's going to be so fun to try, and it's so good.
Exactly.
Okay, so
all right.
This is ready.
So we have our pasta. We're going to put some of that at the bottom of our bowl. We're going to add this delicious sauce.
It smells so good.
It smells good. Looks good. Now, normally I would still pair this with some kind of leafy green vegetable. So, kale, broccoli, which is a family favorite, and make it a meal. So.
Yeah, and get all of your broccoli foods.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so let's try it.
All right.
Yeah. And Lucy, you want to come try with us?
Oh, you guys try first.
Okay, we'll try first.
Now, remember, it's going to be
It'll be
hot.
That was really good.
Delicious. And I love having leftovers for breakfast. So I would have this for breakfast sometimes, you know?
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have my leftover dinner for breakfast all the time.
Yeah.
You want to try, Lizzie?
Yeah.
This is my sister, Lizzie. Hi. Behind the camera. And this is, you know, whole foods, low fat, really, really high in fiber compared to a typical meat-based sauce.
Yeah.
High saturated fat, high calorie. Good, right?
Good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
I'm going to link all of our social media, websites, and everything in the description box below. I hope you guys enjoyed the recipe.
Thanks, guys.
Bye. Thanks for watching Vegan with Jen.